corridor. So within this polygon, make sure that you are heading to your safe spot. Some heavy rainfall and frequent lightning in that direction as well. So we'll kind of track things out here going from the center of that hail core. And we'll track things out to the east here through about 20 miles per hour is how quickly this storm is moving. So very slow in manner. So Leroy here just within the next few minutes. Beaver area by about 4:33. Church area by about 4:52, and York by about 4:53. So continuing to watch things here very, very closely for the area as we have the concern for some heavy rainfall. We also have that severe thunderstorm watch in place until 10 o'clock tonight. So continuing to keep you updated here throughout this evening. We'll send it back to your regular scheduled programming. Welcome back to Midwest Access. We continue to track severe thunderstorms in portions of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. We currently have one severe thunderstorm warning for the area, but word from the National Weather Service is that this current warning, which is in effect for Fillmore, Howard, Mitchell, and Mower County, here we go. Here is this new severe thunderstorm warning. This will be in effect here likely until about 5:15 at 5:30. So apologies here for the size of everything. Current warning that includes Lime Springs. That will be in effect until 4:45. So as we zoom a little bit further out, you can see where that new polygon is here, including portions of Howard County over into Winnebago County. So again, this will continue through at least the 5 o'clock hour, if not 5:15, 5:30. Wind and hail will be the primary concerns. Some concerns with heavy rainfall in the area. You can see all of these dark reds, and even though it's kind of hidden by some of that lightning there, you can see some heavy rainfall through portions of North Iowa too. So concerns for some localized flooding, some flash flooding possible in the area here tonight. So as we continue to track those strong severe thunderstorms for the area, severe thunderstorm watch will remain in effect for all counties highlighted in pink here until 10 o'clock tonight. We are under a level 2 out of a level 5 severe risk for us locally in southern Minnesota, northern Iowa. Heavy rainfall and wind will be our primary concerns, but as we can see, some hail may be possible as well. Can't quite rule out maybe a quick spin-up tornado. Heavy rainfall, as I mentioned, will be a concern as well. The entire viewing area under a level 2 out of a level 4 risk for excessive rainfall. So let's put things into motion here timing-wise. Models handling our current convection well. So we'll look to see this activity continue south of the I-90 corridor, kind of riding along and just south through the 6 o'clock hour. So into the rush hour, that evening commute. But we'll gradually see things moving a little bit further south as we head into the rest of tonight after about the 10 o'clock hour. Gradually seeing all those thunderstorms out of the area here after about midnight tonight. So heavy rainfall will be a big concern. We'll likely be looking at some areas looking at 1-2 inches of rainfall. But if we see those training thunderstorms, we could be looking at maybe upwards of 4 inches. But flash flood watch in effect until midnight tonight. And a look at that 10-day forecast here. A lot drier and a lot hotter conditions on the way by this weekend and next week. That's a look at your first alert weather.
News at 5 o'clock. Let's get another check on that system that Sarah's monitoring on Midwest Access.
That's right. We do have some severe weather in the area. We do currently have a severe thunderstorm warning for Howard and Winnebago County that continues until 5:15 here this evening, and we have 2 flash flood warnings for for Freeborn and Mower County that continue through 7:30 this evening. The latest on our concern for flash floods and storms continues.
Live from your First Alert weather team, this is a First Alert Day.
Heavy rainfall is possible as the storm threat continues for our area this evening. Thanks for joining us for your news at 5 o'clock. I'm Caitlin Alexander alongside meteorologist Sarah Gannon. Sarah, what are you tracking right now?
Well, we are keeping an eye on a few different areas here. We do have one cell in particular that is severe warned. So we do have the severe thunderstorm warning for Howard into Winnebago County here. This will be in effect until 5:15 this evening and has been warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail. So monitoring this particular cell very closely here around the Cresco area, but also monitoring flood concerns. We do currently have 2 warnings, 2 flash flood warnings, one in Mower County and one in northern Freeborn County. So monitoring those 2 areas very closely as well. We've seen some very high rainfall rates, efficient rainmakers out there with those thunderstorms at this hour. You can see a little bit more of a zoomed out version here, that thunderstorm activity kind of riding right along that I-90 corridor. And again, that severe warned storm there in North Iowa. Severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect here until 10 o'clock this evening for all counties highlighted here in pink. This does include the Rochester area, and again, everywhere highlighted in pink until 10 o'clock tonight. We will continue with a more scattered thunderstorm activity through about midnight tonight before we see things kind of quieting down heading into tomorrow and especially moving into this weekend. So a lot to keep an eye on right now in the weather department. Make sure you're staying weather aware, and if you do come across flooded roadways as we enter into that evening commute, turn around, don't drown. Not good news to see such high rainfall rates with these thunderstorms tonight.
Certainly. We will check back with you soon, Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is a First Alert weather update from KTTC.
Hey everybody, meteorologist Sarah Gannon here again. We are interrupting our regular newscast. We do have a tornado warning now for portions of the KTTC viewing area. So right now we are looking at kind of a cluster of severe warnings, the tornado warning, and also some flood warnings as well. So this tornado warning, we'll talk about this first. This is for Mitchell and Mower County. This will be in effect until 5:30 here, so bottom of the hour. National Weather Service has been keeping an eye on some potential rotation in that direction, and enough now to prompt that warning. So let's take a look at that velocity here. Again, this is for Mower and Mitchell counties. So we'll zoom in a little bit closer here. So this would be right around the Adams area. So we'll check out right here. So kind of a bit of a broader view at this point in time, but you can see Adams right here kind of on the northern part of the warning. You can see kind of some broad rotation here throughout portions of Mower County, but still some strong winds here. And this is likely the leading edge of that thunderstorm activity heading towards Stacyville right now. So we have that strong wind right there moving towards the radar. We have Adams, you can see that bright red there moving away from the radar. So kind of right just south of the Adams area is where we're looking at rotation at this point in time. But we may have another possible area here just north of the Stacyville area as well. So if you're within this polygon, you need to be making sure that you are seeking shelter at this point in time. So Adams area down towards McIntyre. Leroy is just a little bit further off to the east, but still you're close, very close to that warning here at this point in time. So again, this is southern. We're looking at southern Mower County, northern Mitchell County, and again, that main area of rotation here just south of the Adams area. So we'll zoom in a little bit further here so we can get an idea of maybe some potential crossroads. We're kind of looking at Johnsburg here. You can see Johnsburg right along the state line here between Minnesota and Iowa. So this is kind of the general area that we're looking at south of Adams 110th Street. We have State Line Road. We have 120th Street right there, 140th Street here just south of Adams. So again, if you're around the Adams area, Johnsburg area, you need to be seeking shelter at this point in time. So there is indication of some radar indicated rotation in that direction. And we'll also check on, not seeing anything from National Weather Service here. So we'll monitor that to see if there is any updates from them at all on what we might be looking at. So we will track this out. We have our intern Aubrey in the back of the Weather Center. Aubrey, can you tell me how fast this cell is moving at? And we'll be able to get a track on this. Okay, and then 20 miles per hour, and then what direction is it moving? East at 20 miles per hour. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. We will track out the rotation here, again, moving to the east at about 20 miles per hour. So we've been seeing these cells moving really slowly here over this afternoon. So we're looking at the Teope area here probably in the next couple of minutes, looking at the Teope area by about 5 at 17, McIntyre by about 5:28. Power plants there, about 5:37. Leroy area, closer to about 5:40. Chester, just after the 6 o'clock hour. They're right about 6 o'clock at 6:01. So again, if you're kind of along the Highway 56 corridor there in far southern Minnesota there in Mower County, make sure that you are seeking shelter here at this point in time. So we're continuing to keep an eye on radar and the velocity, and it's really kind of jumped up a bit here in the last scan or so. You can see some of those bright colors here, again, right around the Adams area. And again, just south of that, kind of right along the border. So we're looking at kind of some broad rotation in general, but also towards Adams. We're watching, well, I could be looking at a couple different spots here too in the Mower County area. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. We'll watch here around Johnsburg, just south of Adams here. Might even have to watch back towards Nevada. For a possible spot there just outside of that polygon. So, Caitlin, it sounds like you have a quick update for us here.
I do, Sarah. Yeah, I'm going to ask our production to pull up a image that we just got into our newsroom. The Austin Police Department sharing a photo of the flooding happening in the community right now. Austin police say that the water is fully over the roads in many low-lying areas and to avoid Main Street by the Bandshell, also over by Brick Furniture. So be sure to avoid that area if you're in the Austin community. Hopefully you're staying in touch with us, watching Sarah right now in her live wall-to-wall coverage. Important reminder to not drive through flooded roadways. Sarah, back to you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Yeah, flooding a big concern here, and that was something that here as a weather team we've been talking about the last 2 days. Our concern for today was going to be the risk for some heavy rainfall and potentially the risk for some localized and some flash flooding possible in the area too. I want to touch on some of those warnings, other warnings besides our tornado warning that we have. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Mitchell and Mower County, more of a broad scale warning, but that stays in effect until the top of the hour at 6 o'clock. We also have another warning here that's set to expire probably the next minute here around the Cresco area for Howard and Wenatchee County. So this expires at 5:15, so about another minute left on that warning. But we do have some flash flood warnings. As Caitlin mentioned there with that photo, we have 2 flash flood warnings. We have one in northern Freeborn County. This will be in effect until 7:30 here tonight, but also into portions of Mower County. Austin included in this. And as you saw in that photo, that rainfall coming very, very fast, very quickly, and these thunderstorms, as Aubrey mentioned, 20 miles per hour is how quick they're moving. So very, very slow moving thunderstorms, efficient rainmakers. They're dumping a lot of rainfall in areas at in one particular area here at a time. So continuing to break down some of these warnings here at this point in time. We'll take another look here at our tornado warning. We'll check on velocity, and then we'll take a look at radar too to get a good look at all the areas here locally. So still seeing some broad rotation here within this polygon here, but again, kind of just right around the Adams area, just south of Adams here, Highway 56 in Mower County. We're looking at kind of this broad rotation here, just south there of Adams, but you can see the bright greens kind of along the leading edge of the thunderstorm as we're watching it move further to the south. A little bit of a change up here. Looks like a fresh scan. Maybe a little bit broader, but you can still see some very strong winds likely here kind of in that direction. So right at the beginning of the polygon there, just to the southwest, excuse me, of the Adams area. Aubrey, if you ever happen to see anything from the National Weather Service in chat at all, feel free to give me a shout on if you see anything that pertains to anything that we're keeping an eye on here.
Okay.
All right. They've let the warning around Howard County, they've let that expire. Looks like messy velocity patterns on radar in the tornado warning storm. So we're watching, as you can see here, a couple different spots where we're watching for some potential tight circulation, those areas of rotation there. So just waiting to see here if we have any, potentially if we can get any eyes on that cell at all for any spotter confirmation on anything, get the boots on the ground. Looks like a report of some street flooding in the Cresco area. Cresco Fire Department reporting 3 inches of rainfall in the last hour. So some street flooding. So Caitlin, that might be something for the newsroom to keep an eye on some potential flooding in that direction. Do you have something for me?
I do, Sarah.
Okay.
Speaking of that flooding, we are just getting some more information into our newsroom, at least with visibility concerns. Okay. We have a crew on the road right now on I-90 westbound. This is near Dexter. This is taken safely, as you can see from the passenger seat. This is not the driver. But our reporter there reports there is very heavy rain, low visibility, many of their fellow drivers moving along with their hazards on at this hour. So not the best conditions to be out driving on I-90 currently.
No, not at all. And something I looked at a little bit earlier here before we came on the broadcast was some of those rainfall rates, just what we're seeing radar-wise. But I wanted to get a good look here at a wide look at our viewing area here of what we're seeing in terms of rainfall on radar. You can see some lighter to moderate rain showers, some thunderstorms kind of along the riverside there through Winona, Wabasha County, even into portions of southern Goodhue County. Rochester, not a lot really happening at this moment. So if you are tuning in from the Rochester area, you might be seeing some spotty rain showers. A few rumbles of thunder, that might be about it. Most of this activity is kind of riding along the I-90 corridor, sinking just south. And something we talked about here throughout this week was the concern for training thunderstorms, for the concern of some heavy rainfall. We have that level 2 excessive rainfall outlook for the entire viewing area. We were afraid of a setup like this where we saw these thunderstorms, could be looking at thunderstorms moving very slowly, training thunderstorms. And unfortunately, this is an area that was already hit pretty hard last week. If you recall, some concerns with some localized flooding into Mower County just last week, even into portions of Fillmore and Houston County. So we're kind of seeing that same setup a little bit further west than what we saw, but still expecting to see areas along and south of I-90 with some significant concerns for heavy rainfall. So I'll zoom things in a little bit here so we can get a good look at what we're looking at from western Fillmore County back through Mower and into Freeborn County here. And I will flip on rainfall rates. And you can see here, brightly colored, and if you compare it to the bar above us here, you can see the blues indicating kind of a lighter rainfall rate. But once we get towards the reds, the pinks, the purples, even the white a little bit, we're looking at some really, really heavy rainfall for the area. And you can see a lot of bright pinks, a lot of bright purples even in there. So we'll take a look at, again, radar estimates. Might be overdoing it just a little bit, but we could be looking at some totals, rainfall totals when all is said and done, maybe upwards of 2, 3, 4 inches if we can get these thunderstorms to kind of push a little bit further east and out of the area. So let's take a look here at some of those radar indicated totals, and I'll zoom in just a little bit further here. But let's check out around the Austin area here. This is going to be just south of Austin. So we could be looking at a rainfall rate there of about 2 3/4 of an inch per hour. And as we saw with some of that video there of that street flooding in the Austin area, doesn't surprise me with those high rainfall rates. So we're looking at least 2+ inches per hour kind of around the Austin area. Let's check out another spot in...
Sarah, they just extended the flash flood warning in Mower County in Austin.
Okay.
And said that the damage threat is considerable.
Okay, so not good news at all. We have that flash flood warning in Mower County, and if they're extending the time on that, and as you can see here when we're looking at our radar estimated rainfall rates, not a good combination. This was what we were worried about just a couple days ago. We were afraid of happening was a situation like this where we have these slow-moving thunderstorms just kind of sitting over particular areas. And Mower County was an area hit hard last week. Parts towards Grand Meadows saw multiple inches of rainfall, and we're kind of seeing the same setup here today. So this is not good news, especially for folks that have already seen so much rainfall. We're excited to see the rain, the ground kind of finally absorb and river levels declining. So let's continue to take a look at some of those potential rainfall rates here in the area. We could be looking at southern Mower County there just to the north of the Lisle area, maybe upwards of 4 inches per hour. Again, radar estimated, maybe overdoing it just a touch. But again, if we're seeing totals accumulate pretty quickly in just a matter of an hour, 2 hours, here, again, you can see just north of, this is the Leroy area, so just north, potentially again, another area where we're looking at 4+ inches per hour of rainfall. So again, radar estimated, and we just have to wait for some of those totals to start coming in. But we did get that report from the Cresco area of at least 3 inches already so far in the Cresco area. So let's go back to velocity and let's check in on our cells here. Okay, I don't like how this looks here. We could potentially have 2 areas of rotation south of Adams. This would be just to the northeast of Johnsburg. We have a spot kind of right here. So this would be just south of 180th Street. And this one here is, I believe, 540th Avenue, just off to the west there of that one. Also another spot that we're watching, 110th Street. still here just south of the Adams area. So you can see this area, or this line, is the state line road. So we have Minnesota and we have Iowa there. So we're looking at potentially 2 areas of rotation here just south of the Adams area. So monitoring those 2 spots very closely. Could be looking at some really strong winds around the Stacyville area. That could be an area that we're watching. That will be an area that we watch here too this evening. So again, that tornado warning staying in effect here until 5:30. If we're still seeing some areas of rotation, I wouldn't be surprised to see the National Weather Service potentially extending that warning. So let me check National Weather Chat here to see if there's any updates at all, and I'm not seeing any updates on anything at the moment regarding those tornado warning, or regarding that tornado warning. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it here as we progress, as we continue to move forward. So, but we'll also touch on the other 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one severe thunderstorm warning that we have. A little bit of a change here with this fresh update. So still just south of the Adams area. We're still kind of looking at a couple spots here, some maybe broad rotation, but rotation nonetheless still. Caitlin, you have something for me here?
Yes, Sarah, I'm going to ask production to once again pull up that image from the Austin Police Department, asking the community to please avoid the Main Street area, noting the flooding that's happening there. This is an image from I-90 westbound near Dexter. This is the one from downtown Austin. You can see the water rising along Main Street there. Austin Police Department issuing this reminder to the public this afternoon, and we just heard from Sarah that the flood warning is continuing out that way, I believe, Sarah, in Mower County. So an important reminder for folks watching at home to please avoid driving in that area if they can. We are working currently on getting a live crew out to touch base with us, boots on the ground, kind of from this vicinity, from Mower County, and we will update you, Sarah, as soon as we have them on the line with us.
All right, awesome. So it sounds like we've got some of our KTTC crew members heading into that area, so we should have a live report here soon. As Caitlin mentioned, as Aubrey mentioned, we have that extension on that flash flood warning for Mower County that stays in effect until 9:30. So that is our update there with that warning is for 9:30. So the flood warning for Freeborn County, that still extends through 7:30. That remains in effect through 7:30. And we have that flood warning for Mower County that has been extended now until 9:30. The tornado warning for Mitchell and Mower County, this continues until 5:30 this evening. And you can see the orange polygon also including Mower, Mitchell, and even into Howard County there. That stays in effect until 6 o'clock. So a couple warnings here for the next half hour to an hour. Both our flood warnings, those will likely stick around for a little bit longer for us here in the region. But a lot of heavy rainfall that we're seeing at this point in time. But okay, so it sounds like we have a live update. Let's see here. We have Morgan. Is that? Yep.
We have our Morgan James live on I-90. You can see the crew is pulled over at this hour, likely due to
anything in chat yet. So I was able to get us logged back in. I have not seen any new updates from them regarding this tornado warning, but it looks like there certainly are still some areas that we need to be watching.
So continuing coverage tonight, we begin with KTTC's Morgan James. She is live in Austin. Morgan, give us an update on conditions right now.
Thank you, Morgan. We continue to keep an eye on flooding conditions in the area, and we still have 2 active flash flood warnings for portions of North Iowa. So we have Floyd and Mitchell County under a flash flood warning here until 10:30 tonight, and then we have Worth and Cerro Gordo counties under a flash flood warning until 1:30 tomorrow morning. So those are 2 warnings that we have left. Most of the rain out of the area, still seeing a few thunderstorms and showers just lingering towards the Highway 18 corridor there in North Iowa. Aside from that, a lot drier conditions, maybe a few lingering showers, but some cloudy skies That's about it. So once all this rain is out of the area, we are dry for tonight. You can see where the areas were most impacted significantly with that heavy rainfall as thunderstorms just kind of stalled out a little bit and started training through portions of southern Minnesota there, portions of Fillmore, and mainly into Mower and into Freeborn County. So as we zoom further in here, you can see portions of Mower County receiving radar estimated rainfall amounts, maybe over 6 inches of rainfall. A lot of spots between Leroy, Adams, and Austin seeing reports of at least 4.5 inches of rainfall. So a lot of rain came very quickly. This is not good news, as that area had already seen quite a bit of flooding just last week, a handful of days ago. Heading into tomorrow, dry conditions, sunshine, no more rain is expected here through tomorrow. And as we take a look at that long range forecast a little bit later on in the broadcast, we'll be looking at more sunshine and quieter weather. So an opportunity to dry out, but a lot of cleanup will need to be done here in the next couple of days.
Relieved to hear that things will be calming down these next couple of days. Thank you, Sarah.
It has been a very stormy afternoon and evening for us here in southern Minnesota, northern Iowa. The good news is the rain is done and we'll look to dry out starting tomorrow. We'll look to see some quiet conditions, dry skies, and a dry pattern on the way for the next week and a half. We'll take a look at that 10-day forecast and your first alert weather in just a few minutes. We have been monitoring flood conditions, flood concerns all afternoon. In fact, the concern for heavy rainfall and potential flooding today, we've been watching that for the last couple of days, really since yesterday. Still have a couple of warnings for the area. We are done with the severe activity. We are done with the rain for tonight once this pushes a little bit further south. We still, though, have 2 flash flood warnings in place. We have one for Floyd and Mitchell County until 10:30 tonight, and we have one along I-35 for Worth and Cerro Gordo counties that stays in effect until 1:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. So still some concerns there with some flooding and still some ongoing flooding in some locations. It'll take a little bit for that water to drain and move out of the region. But as you can see, rainfall pretty much done for pretty much moved out of the area. Still some showers towards Winneshiek and Alameda County. But aside from that, most activity is to our south, to our east as we move in for the rest of tonight. So dry conditions are expected. However, a bullseye right over portions of southern Minnesota here again tonight compared to last week. Not too far off. Some areas kind of getting a double dose of that heavy rainfall. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. Not a lot of rain happening in the Mankato area towards Buffalo Center, Owatonna, Rochester, really Highway 14 and north. Not seeing a lot of rainfall here today. The bulk of this activity is staying in Fillmore, Mower, and into Freeborn County. So you can see towards the Geneva area, radar estimated rainfall amounts maybe towards about 4 inches there. Looking at the Mower County region, we're looking at spots like Adams and towards Rose Creek, where we could be looking at potentially upwards of 5-6 inches of rainfall maybe. And again, this is radar estimated, so it might be overdoing it just a little bit. We did have some viewer reports out of the Adams, Leroy area, Elkton, Dexter area, anywhere from around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. So radar estimates might not actually be too far off, but a lot of heavy rainfall in this direction. And this was an area that was hit pretty hard just last week. A couple of viewer photos for you. You can see here in the Adams area, some backyard flooding happening there. Almost looks like a pond or river moving through the backyard there. Another view from Grand Meadow. Kim sending in this photo here. So again, another view of everything that has been going on. Just a sample of what we've seen. But a big thank you to all of our viewers for sharing those photos with us. You can join our KTTC Weather Photo Community Group there on Facebook. Share all weather-related things here for the region. Heading into tonight, the good news is we're done with the rain. Sky conditions will gradually clear out. Temperatures should cool back into the 60s here for tonight. Tomorrow, a bit of a seasonal day, looking pretty decent here. Some sunshine on the way. High temperatures into those lower 80s for tomorrow. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. A lot more sunshine on the way as we take a look at that 7-day for Mankato. Some good news here. Things, though, getting mighty hot heading into next week. High temperatures approaching the low 90s. Let's take a look at that 10-day forecast for the Rochester area. We are gearing up for some comfortable seasonal temps here the next few days. Good news is a lot of sun icons, and we desperately need that, especially folks there in Mower, portions of Fillmore, and Freeborn counties here, needing those dry conditions to kind of get rid of that water, kind of clean up the mess that floods usually leave behind. but gearing up though for some more heat heading into next week.
The sunshine's certainly going to bring lots of relief this week.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Nick. Let's take another look at that 10-day forecast. Some relief on the way for many, especially those that were impacted by the heavy rain and those flash floods here today. Dry conditions, sunshine, quiet weather on the way. Not only as we move into the late week, the weekend, that extended forecast here looking all throughout next week. Temperatures, though, I need to take note of that. Comfortable, more seasonal here in the next few days, but we are keeping an eye on next week. Getting toasty as we track high temperatures in the upper 80s, maybe some low 90s possible by Monday, Tuesday of next week.
Going to be humid next week.
Yeah.
But glad to have sunshine instead of rain.
Yes, I'm sure many of us excited to see some sunshine for a little while, allow things to kind of dry up, give us some time to clean up, and hopefully kind of get all that water through the system. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9. Of heavy rainfall targeting the region, creating more waterlogged areas in southeast Minnesota and northern Iowa. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Olivia Pronzinski.
And I'm Brock Burgee. Some impressive images to share with you this evening, sent in by many of you after an active late afternoon for our first alert weather team. Meteorologist Sarah Gannon is with us. We had tornado warnings, flash flood warnings, and you were just go, go, go.
That's just kind of how the day went. So one thing after another, and hopefully we kept you all safe and informed here. Not great news to continue to have flood concerns here today, especially after some areas in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa were hit pretty hard last week. We still have 2 flash flood warnings in place here this evening. We have along the I-35 region there, Worth and Cerro Gordo counties until 1:30 tomorrow morning. And then we have still until the bottom of the hour here, Floyd and Mitchell counties also in North Iowa until 10:30 here tonight for a flash flood warning there. So still looking at a lot of tough images out there. Portions of North Iowa also remaining under a flood watch until midnight tonight. And this does include a few of those counties that are actively under flash flood warnings. So a lot of rainfall fell today. We are now dry and quiet. So some good news there, and the long range forecast will benefit us, allowing us to dry out after what has been a very soggy day. So continuing here into the rest of tonight, we are done with the rain. We'll look to see some cloudy conditions for the area. But as I mentioned, we are looking to continue on more of a dry trend going forward. So it'll be a while before we get some rain back in the forecast area. I know this will be great news for some folks here, especially in the immediate forecast. However, if we keep it too dry for too long, then we could start having some issues again. So one thing at a time here as we move into the next few days.
Many people hoping for that relief from the rain tonight.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
It has been a very soggy Wednesday for many of us in southern Minnesota and parts of northern Iowa here tonight. Good news is we are done with the rain the rest of tonight. Tomorrow, beginning drying out. We'll see some sunshine, especially later in the day. High temperatures looking to be fairly seasonal into the low 80s, gearing up for more sun and even more heat heading into next week. Those first alert forecast details are next.
Your first alert weather with meteorologist Sarah Gannon.
The good news is things starting to dry out now heading into the rest of tonight, but we do still have some warnings for the area. We continue with 2 flash flood warnings for North Iowa, one along I-35, including Worth and Cerro Gordo counties. That stays that continues until 1:30 tomorrow morning. So a few more hours on that one. We also have another flash flood warning for Floyd and Mitchell County. This one will be in effect until 10:30 tonight. So another half hour of 15 minutes or so on that warning, and we'll see that one expire. But still some concerns for those floodwaters across southern Minnesota and northern Iowa here this evening. As I mentioned, skies drying out. We are done with the rain for the rest of tonight. We'll see some cloud cover gradually bringing in a little bit more sunshine here heading into tomorrow. So let's take a look at some of those rainfall amounts in the area. You can see the areas impacted most significantly by that heavy rainfall, training thunderstorms earlier this evening into portions of Howard, Fillmore, Mower and into portions of even Freeborn County here this evening. We'll zoom in a little bit closer, take a look at some of those totals coming in from the area up towards Geneva and Freeborn County, around 4 inches for radar estimates. Radar estimating around 4 inches towards Austin, around the Adams area, maybe a little over 6.5 inches, and around Leroy, right around 5.5 inches. And these are radar estimates, so not quite, some spots maybe overdoing it, maybe underdoing it in some locations. But I was able to compile a list here of some local viewer reports. 2 totals coming in from the Austin area. Viewer report in southwest Austin, over right around 7.5 inches falling. Another report from Austin, just shy of 5 inches there. So Leroy about 5.5, around that same amount there for the Elkton and Dexter areas. St. Ansgar, Iowa, just over 4 inches there, 4.5 towards Adams. But you can see a lot of rainfall falling in just a small section of the viewing area. Rochester International Airport for Rochester folks, just shy of that 1 inch mark. And I wanted to take a minute here to kind of show a few viewer photos too. This one coming in from the Adams area. You can see the flooding there happening in some of those backyard areas. Another view from Grand Meadow coming in here tonight as well. So a big thank you to all of our viewers for sending in those rainfall reports and sharing those viewer photos with us here on our KTTC Weather Photo Community Group. Tomorrow, a lot better conditions. Looking at some dry skies. Thankfully, clearing out here. If you're looking to head downtown Rochester for Thursday's downtown, should be a good day to get outside, soak up just a little bit of some sunshine. Temperatures pretty seasonal into those lower 80s. Let's take a look at that 10-day forecast as things look to be on the drying trend. We're done with the rain for a while, in fact. Some good news for many here that have been impacted greatly just in the last week. We had late last week. Now today, with all of that heavy rain, those flash floods, so I'm sure many folks excited to see a stretch of sunshine. However, temperatures getting kind of hot
warm
next
week.
Yeah.
Lots of sunshine, but you know, we have to find that balance. We don't want it to dry out too much.
Yeah, or we're back where we started.
All right, thanks, Sarah.
Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast for us here in southern Minnesota, including the Austin, Mason City, and Winona areas. Some spots are like the Austin area. I'm sure exciting to see this forecast. Things a lot drier as we move into the next few days. There may be a chance for a little bit of some patchy fog tomorrow morning on that early morning commute. So use some extra caution there on the roads. But for the most part, looking at some dry, sunny conditions in the coming days. Opportunity for some seasonal temperatures between tomorrow and Friday. However, temps really starting to climb as we move into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. Looking to see temperatures well above average in the upper 80s, maybe pushing that low 90 mark in some locations, but no rain here in the immediate forecast, and that trend continues through the next 7 to 10 days. Nick? It's been a busy day. Let's kind of relax here now this evening with some Garden Gallery winners. We have 2 of them here this evening. We have one from Casson, Deanne, with some beautiful petunias here tonight. Congratulations, Deanne. You can head on over to Custom Retaining Wall and Landscaping to pick up your $10 prize. And another winner here for tonight, we have Emily out of Alta Vista, Iowa, with some beautiful lilies. Congratulations to you both. You both can head on over to Custom Retaining Wall and Landscaping for your $10 prize. And folks at home, it's easy to enter. Share your photos to garden@kttc.com. Make sure to include your name, where the photo was taken, and just a friendly reminder, take them horizontal, not vertical. Horizontal. It fits a lot better here into the graphic. And then we get a good view of those beautiful flowers. Let's take a look at that 10-day forecast. Things a lot drier here tonight as we move into the late week, this weekend, and into next week. Long range forecast has us dry, sunny, and eventually getting hot heading into next week. We'll track high temperatures in the upper 80s, some low 90s, maybe even possible early next week between Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for the area. Maybe even Wednesday as well. Things are looking rather toasty, but a dry stretch I think will be welcomed by many after kind of back-to-back flash flood events here in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. So enjoying and gearing up for that, but hopefully we don't see that rain staying away too long. We'll need it eventually again.
We got lots of viewer photos today and videos.
We did, and remember, if you are in Mower County, take it easy there.